Today, I'm going to be doing some comparisons with a lineup of some vintage Nikon Nikkor lenses from the 1950s through the 1980s versus modern day glass, which we're just going to go ahead and say in this case is the Sigma 18-35. Can't tell you how many people and how many videos I see where this is the main lens that they use. I mean, myself included. It is the most overused lens probably out there in filmmaking today. And that's kind of why I chose the Sigmas to compare with these vintage lenses. Because oddly enough, some of these vintage lenses have some really, really unique characteristics that I think you guys are gonna enjoy. Some of the things we're gonna be looking at between the two lenses specifically are gonna be the flaring, the way the light or sunlight refracts off the elements inside of the glass. These vintage lenses have beautiful flares, while the Sigmas have very boring, mundane. I don't like the flares at all on the Sigmas. I think that they are trash. But these vintage lenses have amazing flares. You'll see. You'll see what I'm talking about. Now, for some practical use, I've put this 20mm on a gimbal and ran some tests. And I will say that balancing this 20mm lens on a gimbal versus this 18-35, I mean, it's like night and day. This thing is tough to balance. It's possible. Kind of needs some counterweights, and you gotta kind of really position the camera strategically on a gimbal to balance it properly, at least on a handheld gimbal. I use the Mazda Air 2. It's great, it's stronger than the Ronin S. I don't care what y'all think about that, that's just facts. One thing to note is that the price of all four of these lenses is probably going to be less than the price of one Sigma 18-35. So if you're a new filmmaker and you just bought yourself a camera, these lenses are actually going to be a good option for you, and you'll learn a lot by using a set of primes. These things are built like tanks. They're all solid metal construction. They don't fit directly on the camera. You have to buy these rings, which I have a Nikon to Canon EF ring, and I just have one at the moment, but they're real easy to just snap on the back of these things and you can slap it right on your camera. People are using these Sigma lenses, and because of the nature of these lenses, they're razor sharp. People are actually putting black pro mists or, you know, some kind of diffusion filters over the lens to kind of soften the image. And the great thing about these lenses is that they're already soft out the box. If you do a little digging on eBay, you can find a set of these lenses in good condition for a reasonable price, well under what it would cost to have either one of these lenses. Another difference that I've noticed is that with these Nikon lenses, the bokeh shapes are all different. The Sigmas are gonna have circular bokeh shapes pretty much at any f-stop. For a new filmmaker, someone who's just getting started, a set of primes is really important to help you understand each and every focal length. And I cannot recommend these lenses enough for people who are just starting out, who don't have the money to afford, you know, modern day lenses. These lenses are great. Even if you're not a new filmmaker, just something different in your bag, something unique is gonna give you an edge. It's gonna just allow you to be more creative. So that's it. I don't have any other tests planned, but I did want to end this video, wrap things up by leaving the Sigmas at home and taking the vintage set out for a test spin out in the wild. See if we can't make things look cinematic. All right, let's go.